Hi, welcome to Divorce Connection Network. I'm Tammy Saltzman, your host. I'm an attorney here in South Florida, and today we are welcoming Laura Blackman. Laura and I know each other for a very, very long time, and Laura has been practicing family law in Florida as an attorney for 25 years, and she's only 26 years old. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so Laura's here to talk to us about how to handle dating when you're single and going through a divorce. So once you separate and move out of the marital residence, one of you, what should you think about when you're now in this single world ready to date? Or are we ready to date? So I want to first welcome Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hello, Tammy.
How are you?
Thanks so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. And Laura has a lot of experience in this area, especially because she had 2 young children and was out there in the single world. And no one knows better than Laura how to behave. I remember when I first separated from my husband, she gave me a list of advice, which she's now going to give to you. So, Laura, why don't you tell our audience what they should be thinking about if they are now single, separated, and not yet divorced?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a big believer that children always come first. So whatever you're going to do, whatever actions you're going to take, the children always have to be considered first, because even though this is a terrible time that you're going through, you will be fine. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is a new beginning, and you will be fine. It's the children that we have to worry about. I am, as you know, Tammy, like yourself, I'm a children and women's advocate, so everything is always about the children. I jotted down a few things. First of all, if anyone tells you that you should go right out there and date, that's inappropriate, as we both know. During a divorce, it's a very terrible time. The family is broken up. There's 2 houses usually. It's not a good situation. So what happens is one party usually is hurt, so the other party wants to go out and do crazy stuff. I always advise my clients to remember, when you go out, wherever you are and whoever you're with, there could be a private investigator watching you if it's a custody case. You should not do any inappropriate behavior that could have any repercussions, like drinking heavily or doing anything else with anyone, because it could come back and haunt you. If you go out and you have a good time and then you get a DUI, that would significantly hurt your case. So those are some things about your behavior, how you should act, and people that you should associate with during a divorce. Also, you find out who your friends are, as we both did. So you find out who your friends are during divorce. People that you thought were your friends sometimes become adversaries in the court case, sometimes become adversaries in your life. So
you have to be careful who you confide in.
Exactly. I would not tell anyone anything unless you have known the person a very long time and you're very secure in that relationship. Those are very hurtful things when they come back. I've had several cases recently where one spouse was with the other spouse's best friend. And it's brutal and it's a betrayal, and you just have to really keep your circle tight, take care of your children, and get through the process with your attorney and the team that your attorney tells you to use. That's what I do. I usually put my client or the children into therapy, and we work through all of these issues during the time period of the divorce. Let me see if there's some other things I wanted to tell you. I said don't discuss your case with anyone. Your actions during the divorce is very important. Basically, I think the most important thing when you're dating is not to introduce the children to anyone. Several people will disagree with me, but it always comes back to kick you, because the children always hurt, because people that you're going to meet during the year that you're going through your divorce, or a month that you're going through, divorces can take anywhere from a month to years. So during that time period, you have to go through the process, and you have to be one with the process. And during that process, if you meet someone and then you introduce them to the children and then it doesn't work out, and then you introduce another one to the children, it does not show the children It's not good for the children.
It's hard enough for an adult to deal with the breakup.
Yes.
It's unrealistic to expect children to be able to deal with it. I find sometimes when you meet someone, if they have children your kid's age, it's a natural desire to want to introduce the kids and to spend time together. But you don't think, well, what happens if we break up?
Right.
So now your child is no longer seeing that man that you were dating, if you're a woman, no longer is seeing the children that you brought into their life,
right.
And there's a void. And so now the kids are going through the breakup as well.
Right. It's a very it's a difficult decision to make, because when you go through the divorce, you're really not where you're going to be a year from the divorce. So my opinion is not to introduce the children to anyone. That when your spouse has the children, go out and do your thing and have fun and enjoy your life, because it's a new beginning and you are going to be fine. The children are the ones we have to worry about. We always have to worry about the children, because you're going to be fine during the divorce.
Well, even when dad has the kids, say you're a woman and dad has the kids and it's a Wednesday night, I think that you should really be cautious about where you're going and what you're doing. When people come into my law practice and they are ready to go out there, I always tell them, lay low, especially the men. Because when the wife finds out that their husband has been seen dining with a redhead or a blonde down at Max's or somewhere,
right.
it just adds fuel to the fire.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, because especially if a spouse has been scorned, and someone has committed infidelity, even though infidelity doesn't even come into the court unless the children are unsafe or unless there's dissipation of marital assets, emotionally it comes into the case, and it stops settlement, and it stops a lot of progress in the case that could be going on. So be discreet, have fun. You're getting rid of the person. You're going to have a new beginning, but be very discreet about what you do, and always take care of the children.
Let's talk a little bit about social media and how social media is now impacting the cases that we're seeing in litigation. What is your opinion about, say, Facebook, for instance?
Right. Okay. Well, Facebook, text messaging, emails, even LinkedIn, where a lot of professionals are on it. That people are finding people on LinkedIn. I mean, it's even become a dating service. So what's happening is these issues of their divorce and pictures being posted with people are inflaming the cases. And ironically, sometimes you can follow a person when they say they were somewhere and they're really somewhere else by proving they were somewhere else on Facebook. Because they post everything. Everyone's posting where they are.
And it says where they are, and
Exactly.
It also has like that little gray thing that says near the villages of,
Exactly.
or near this.
Exactly. And then if you are in a case where, let's say, you hired a private investigator, the private investigators, my private investigators, are always looking at Facebook, because they follow the person to see where they are, actually to save money for my client. So even the private investigators are using Facebook, and now there's something called Tinder.
Pinterest,
like a lot of these sites are really sometimes helping the case, but most of the time they're hurting the case.
Talk a little bit more about, you mentioned emails and text messages.
Right. So, as we know, with infidelity, for some reason people don't think if you text something or email something to the person that you're with that it can be found. I had a case last week where there were, I want to say 1,800 hours of text messaging, and we got it transcribed.
How do you get that transcribed? How do you have access to the text messages?
You go to the AT&T, the carrier, and everything, and it was on my client's plan. That's how silly this woman was, that she thought she was above the law and she would never get caught, and she was having an affair for 18 months. So, and we found out everything. And so that really hurt her case. So if I was her attorney, I would have said, I want you to know that we are really in trouble here. Even though infidelity doesn't have anything to do with the case, because it's a no-fault state and it's irreconcilable differences, the fact that she did this for 18 months and what she wrote in there was some criminal activity that was going on. So now there's criminal actions possibly. So basically, from my client, it's great, because we can use all this and say, this is what we have. and we're going to use it.
Right, so it's kind of like leverage.
Exactly. It's leverage to settle the case.
Leverage to settle the case.
That's
so
correct.
I hope you're all out there listening, because this is some really good advice. We all think that once we delete a voicemail or we delete a text message or we delete an email, that it's nowhere to be found. And quite often, the emails are even on your server, the Google server, the Gmail server, your business server, and they can easily be downloaded once again. And the same thing with text messages from the providers. And that would include, I would imagine, pictures and other
Right.
things that you're texting back and forth. So not that it's going to, there is no retribution in the law, but definitely leverage, and you want to be careful about giving that kind of leverage to the other side. So the best advice is lay low, get divorced, wait till your documents are signed, sealed, and delivered, and then do what you want. But remember to keep your kids as your number one priority, and try to avoid introducing your children to every person that you date. Laura, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Tammy. It was wonderful.
My pleasure.
So happy to be here.
Tell our audience, if they want to reach you, how they can find you.
Oh, if you want to reach me, you can go to my website, Laura at laurasblackman.com. My office number is 561-995-5960. And if you go to my website, you can find me, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. You will find Laura's link right on our website at divorceconnectionnetwork.com. Thanks.
Thank you.